Testing. I want to see if you all can hear me. Deciding to go live today, and let's see if I can record and you can hear me because I've had technical difficulties that have delayed me actually going live. So let's see if this works today. I'm going to go live on X. Let's see how that goes. Let me get that set up. I got to update my title. But I'm hoping you all can hear me. Yes. Hey, Brooke, can you hear me? I'm testing this, and now I'll make sure I go live on the other other platforms. Yes, you can hear me. I've been having issues with people being able to hear me, so maybe I worked out my technical difficulties. So let's see. I'm gonna respond to you. I will see if I can go live on X and how that will work. I did set up a space. Um, oh, all right. Okay, you in there? Okay, I'm gonna get set up over here on my other computer and make sure we get set up so we can hold the space there. Um, I think this is a very important topic because, okay, so the topic is immigrants are racist mixed with classism. And with that, there's no Black unity because Black is being used to basically have us all lumped in as one under race. And we know we are attempting to get away from race because race does harm the freedmen, most importantly. And so now we see this big push with all other ethnicities here in America that are now saying they are Black, and they never did that before. So we're going to talk about it. And I want to be able to, let's see, share my screen on some things as well. That's why I decided I wanted to go live today so I could really walk through some things that are ongoing, and so we can see the play. And the motivation for this is AOC speech the other day in New York City, and how everybody came and created or built New York City, right? So now they're on the soil and they're attempting to rewrite American history right in front of our faces. And I hope people are able to recognize and see what is happening right in front of our faces. So give me a moment. I'm going to see if I can make sure my live stream is working with the X room, X spaces. And I'm gonna go ahead and go live and see how that goes. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead, since we've started. Oh. And please put in the chat your thoughts. Anything you see and what you're noticing as well. I'm just highlighting some things from my perspective, I should say. And not everyone may have the same perspective as I do. So I definitely want to talk about that. Okay, let's see if we can get this going. My channels, they're on. Let's see if it's ongoing on X. I'm going to open the space and let's see. I'm going to make sure you all can hear me. I know you all can hear me, but them on X can hear me as well. I don't think it's live yet. So let me work out these technical difficulties. It says, okay. Are you all on X too? If you can see it, let me know. If you can't, I think, okay, already added. It says I'm offline on YouTube on my restream. So that's my issue. Oh, I see what it is. I think I noticed what it is. Hi, okay. Hi, Blood Pack. How are you? I'm attempting to make sure I stream live and front and center also on my restreaming platform. So I'm working out some kinks. How are you today? I'll send you a request while I work out these kinks. Okay. I'm live on YouTube. Now, why can't I get everything going? I see, you see it on, okay, you see it? So, all right. So hi, Blood Pack, how are you? I don't know if you can come up. Oh, excuse me. You're in my room too. Okay, you're everywhere. Thank you, lady. Okay, so now I am holding this space because again, I do want to make sure we're understanding how right now there is a push for us in a way to align with the immigrants in a way of race. And we know that we are at this point in time attempting to remove race because we know race harms us, right? It harms the natives, it harms the freedmen. And so, and we know race is a social construct that basically was created in the United States for to harm and injure the freedmen. And we are now, and you all, I want you to see, I have my shirt on. I am Black History. That's one of my shirts. I love it. I probably need to get some more made, but I'll show you. It says I am Black History. Okay. We are walking around here. We are. As we know that we decided to take on Black as an ethnonym and a part of our ethnicity, right? So now we have beings that want to come and operate in only in race. And even when we express to them that our race, or excuse me, we utilize Black as our ethnicity and ethnonym, there doesn't seem to be any respect on boundaries. And so now I'm just gonna say it. We see that many of the immigrants are operating in race to connect to our identity. Yes, ownership is put on. We took ownership of it. Yes, we did take ownership of Black, and we made Black our as a antithesis to white, right? And to show that we can operate differently than being in race. So making it our ethnicity, making it an ethnonym for us as the only Black people that have been in America for over 400 years. So, and the Black people in America that uh, built, developed, and advanced this country into a superpower. So now we have various other groups operating in race, and in operating in race, they are now, some of them humiliated, and they're now basically only operating in race, right? They only want to operate in race because you hear them say, I am Black, but then you'll say the yellow people, the brown people, Hispanics are brown people. So, this shallow view of race is also another issue or problem, because we don't operate in that way. And just because the Europeans that now are white have aligned themselves with the immigrants that we see are now operating in race, which is the system of racism that's continuously being played out. And then I'm saying it's mixed with some classism now. You'll see that because we're seeing a great deal of beings, it doesn't matter about their race, are operating as socialists. We're seeing it now. And again, it's front and center. It is front and center in our faces, right now. We are witnessing how many individuals are in America, and they are operating within the system of supposedly what they say they're fighting. They're now operating in it as if they're not changing anything, right? They're literally not changing a thing. They are actually harming us even more and attempting to take on our identity. And that is a major, major, major issue. When now we have individuals in America operating in race, and they're bringing their classism to America, right? And they know exactly what they're doing because they're not assimilating into American ideology. So I want to pull up what I'm talking about specifically so everyone can see. I'm going to pull up AOC. And I just want you all to let's talk about it. Like, give me a moment. I'm gonna share my screen, but let's talk about what's happening right in front of our faces right now. With AOC and others, there's a big push right now for what I see the Africans, the Caribbeans that used to make sure they were delineating, which they still do. They still delineate from us, right? We know they're delineating from us all the time. And now all of a sudden, they are Black like us. And we know that's not true, as we are moving from Black. So give me a moment. I'm going to pull up this AOC because it's going around. So you all know exactly what I'm talking about and why I decided to hold this live, because this is really, you all, out of hand to me. Like, we cannot accept all of these beings to come to America and just speak on our history so recklessly. And it really bothers me that more of us are not going against this that is happening. Okay, so now I am going to share my screen and let's see how this works, because this will be the first time for me in this technology. I'm adjusting, you all. I am adjusting. Okay, so let's see if it shares. Select window or screen. Okay, we're gonna go here. Okay, let's see if this works. I'm gonna rewind. Can you see? No? Now, can you all see that? Or hold on. I think it's okay. It's not working. So give me a moment. Um, you don't see it. Okay. All right. Perfect. I know you can hear it. I can hear it. It says share screen, but hold on. Let's get it together. I'm gonna stop that and I'm gonna share. And that's not the exact one that I want to share anyway. I want to go to the one where she speaks about the blacks. Oh, here we go. The blacks from New York City, from slavery. We were fleeing from slavery and Jim Crow and Latinos seeking a better life and all of this BS. All of this BS. Nothing really dealing with history. And that's a problem. That is a major problem. So hold on, let me see. I want to make sure that I'm able to share my screen. I was trying to share, I don't want to do Zoom. I might have to go to, okay, allow Studio YouTube to see your screen. Okay. That's my entire screen. Now, it says I'm sharing my screen. And now I want to, let's see, what's this? Okay, pop out dashboard. Okay, we may have some. You know what, Herrero, you can remove yourself because you ain't finna harass me on my channel, fool. You came to my country. We not tolerating this from y'all. You in my country, honey. You don't like us, you don't have to come here. This is not the time nor the place. We're not doing this here. You better remember who you talking to. We're warriors over here in America. Slaves or not, we saved America. We save America all the time. Uh, I can't hold on. Yeah, because my screen is not sharing. Let me see. I don't want to sign out of here. Okay. It says share live stream. Share. I don't want to do that. If you can't see, you can't see my screen at all, right? That's my issue. Okay, hold on. I don't know how to even give you mod permissions. Because I have not ever shared my screen or gone live where I've shared my screen. So I'm still learning this format, unfortunately. And it says share screen at the bottom here, and it says select window. And live streaming, I have live streaming YouTube here. I say allow. So when I say allow to share my screen, I'm not seeing it come up for you all. So if I switch here, can you see me? Did you see me switch between screens, Brooke? Yes, you can see it? Okay. So let's go to this. I'm going to rewind it because I want us to listen to this. Okay. Did you were able to see that? No, you still didn't see it? Okay. The slow Oh, okay, okay, okay. Let's see. The slow mode causes a delay. Okay. Okay. But you wasn't able to see it? If it's the slow mo, maybe I could edit. I could go in and edit the slow mo. Do. Okay, I can take it off slow mo. And let's see what happens if it's causing a delay. Okay, slow is off. Okay, perfect. I will go back. So you want me to play that one more time? And I'll share one more time. Share. All right. Thank you, Miss Brooke, helping me work through this right now. Okay. So I'm going to allow again. And we're going to go back to the actual video that I want you all to see with AOC and what she's saying. Okay. Okay. Um, First of all, when did the Irish build New York City? Uh, you don't have a problem with that? Because I do. Because the Dutch came and there were black Americans or Africans free and enslaved, right? For over 200 some years. Even though slavery was legal and illegal in the North, it was the majority of our ancestors, right? Before America, right? Before all of this, the Civil War and everything else, they were colonies. And so even when they built Wall Street, you can Google. I'm a Google. I just have to show y'all how crazy this is. That we have to push back. We have to push back on some of the stuff that they're saying right now because it's just totally out of hand. They're just really attempting to rewrite history in front of our faces right now. And so we cannot allow this to happen. We know we don't have representation, but political representation, right? But we are the representation. The people. We have people power. It's all about us. So I'm going to just Google, and I'm gonna show y'all on my screen. The question that I asked Google about who built New York City. Okay. We already know about Seneca Village in New York City that is now Central Park. Uh, so just the fact that they want to now put us in with the immigrants is my issue. It's ridiculous that now the immigrants in America are saying that they built America. So did Black Americans build New York City? Okay, we'll see what it says. I did some research earlier. Okay, and slavery in New York comes up, right? Okay, hold on, we're gonna get to it. Although the Dutch was there, they had slaves. I'm gonna show you my screen. We're gonna go through it because I think it's just ridiculous that now we have the immigrants ignoring the history to include themselves. And the thing about it was most of them. I'm gonna go to this website, Slavery in New York. Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna share my screen again. Let's see if this works with no delay. Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen and so you all can see again where I'm going. So, okay, the history of slavery in New York. That's one of the websites where they talk about enslaved Africans, first with the Dutch, English merchants, the trade in slaves, and what slaves produce: sugar, cotton, indigo, coffee, chocolate, ultimately cotton. Right? So during the colonial period, 41%, there's an error there, of the city's households had slaves. So It says slavery was no milder in urban north than in deep south. Instances of abusive treatment. So basically, where I'm going is I'm gonna go back, and we're gonna go out of this. Where I'm going go is we have where the slaveholders are the Irish or the Dutch or whomever, right? In New York City. But now they are ignoring the fact that we have been here over 400 years. So here it says, was Central Park built over a Black community? Yes, Central Park was built over the community of Seneca Village, which was predominantly Black settlement founded in 1825. Okay. I want to get back to, though, the actual, did Black Americans, I should say, build? I did say build, but it says built. We'll go here. Oops. Okay. Land of the Blacks, Manhattan. Let's go. Oh, this is Wikipedia. I don't like using Wikipedia because it's not a reliable source. But we see that in Wikipedia. Let's go to a more reliable source. How slave labor made New York. That's the root. I want a more reliable source than some of these others. So give me a moment. We're going to go back because when I look up, okay, let's just go here. Did slavery build New York City? Yes. Slavery was fundamental to building New York City's economy and infrastructure. Enslaved people cleared land for streets, built the wall that gave Wall Street its name, paved roads, and performed the labor that was essential to the city's growth and prosperity. Okay, this is what I was getting at. And this gives you an actual great overview of what the slaves did in New York City. And we know throughout the United States, right? So with her claiming we went to New York to free ourselves from slavery and Jim Crow, y'all. She said from slavery and Jim Crow. Okay, y'all know where I'm going with this, right? Yes, I'm just dumbfounded. The way the immigrants come in and are attempting to rewrite our history right in front of our faces, instead of her starting with, oh, it's the slaves or the Black American of freedmen who have been here. They really built New York City, so it's a place for us to come to, right? She's lumping us all in as if they all have some contributions to building America. And this is a socialist ideology. This is how they're saying that we too was here. When the Irish, the Dutch were all, or Germans, all these Europeans were participating in slavery. They didn't do any real hard labor. So am I the only one that's seeing this and having a problem with it? Because I mean, people think I'm sensitive. I know I'm sensitive, right? But I'm like, hold up. You just going all around. And this is something that is happening with all of these Democrat politicians. Okay. We got to find the Brandon Johnson piece. That's the other piece we got to talk about. I want you all to see how they are openly attempting to rewrite history in America and claim and act like this has always been a socialist nation. That's what I'm saying. We'll get to the Black unity There's no black unity. I'm saying it. I don't care what nobody says. There's no black unity. Because right now, and I'm saying no black unity, meaning the messaging that they're pushing right now that immigrants are black too, right? We know, again, I'm going to repeat, we know we have been the only black people in the United States of America for over 300 years. We know for that total, right? I'm just going 300 years just to give a number, but we know it's more than that. However, uh, now in 2025, we have others that just got here in the late 90s, early 2000s that would tell us, no, I'm Jamaican. No, I'm Bahamian. No, I'm such and such. They were never black. But in 2025, all of a sudden they're black. And they're trying to chastise us and make us feel guilty in some way when they've never stood in solidarity with us. Never. Civil rights, you would have thought there would be more humiliated nations supporting us, but no. Okay, so I'm going to get to the Brandon Johnson. He's another one in another city that is making sure, Democrat, that is also pushing this lingo. Oh, here it is. Okay, let's hold on. We're gonna get to this one. I want you all to really understand what is at play right now. We are witnessing many politicians now going against established American laws. So let's listen to. I want to make sure you can see that. Can you see it, Brooke? Are you still there where you can see the screen? Because I want you all to see my screen and be able to hear what he is saying. I don't know if you're still there, Brooke, but I hope I'm gonna share my screen again just as a backup. Make sure we're able to see it, and I'm going to go to this particular piece by Brandon Johnson. Okay, listen to Brandon Johnson. Oh, I can't hear that as well. Okay, I don't know if that one you could hear well. Let's see. Could you hear him? I couldn't hear him that well. Take okay, got you. Okay. I'm gonna try it one more time. Let's see. I'm gonna try a different one because that one didn't seem. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Um, as loud as we need it. Let's see if this one. Oh, that's better. Okay. Let's see if I share my screen again. He said, we don't have illegal aliens, y'all. Mind you, we have an Immigration Naturalization Act for, and and the Hart-Celler Act that speaks about illegal aliens. That's a correct term, by the way. So now the ploy is anything written in the United States laws is not true. So let's see what he has to say. Okay. This is Brandon Johnson, you all. No, you don't hear nothing. Oh my, okay. Wow. Okay. Dang. You know what? I might need to go to Zoom to do my lives because I can manage, I can manage Zoom much better, uh, than here because let's see. Let me see if it allows me to. I'm not signing out of anything. I can't cancel. Let me cancel that. Hero, I don't care what you think, honey. You in my country. You on my soil. We gonna do us, whether you like it or not. This ain't you ain't contributed nothing to it. You saying what you say ain't got nothing to do with me. You just upset and it's displaced anger. We get it all the time. We don't care. Okay? We don't give up. Take your butt on back home, build your homeland. You got plenty of arable land in your country. Go build it up. Bye. Don't come back. Deport. You can get $1,000. You can get a free plane flight, even if you don't want to go back to your host country. Okay, we helping you out. We done helped you out enough. Go and build your own. You got God done blessed you with your your own country. Okay, so one is watching, but many will see. It's taped. So, and they will see why. So as long as you keep harassing me, it only shows that this is why we don't want you on the soil and we won't support you. So continue to show us how you move. It's all good. Nothing new here in America for us. Nothing new. We've been through the worst of the worst. And there's nothing you can do about us loving on ourselves and our country on our soul. And we're going to continue to do us. So, so you all, dang, I really was hoping that you hear this video by Brandon Johnson. Let me see if I can get this issue squared away because that was a part of me going live is highlighting how many of them are really in this day and time are really going hard and attempting to indoctrinate us or spread this propaganda for us or to get us to align to fight for immigrants that we know are coming in to take over our politics, coming in to invade and take over our land. And they want us to feel guilty about standing in our American identity or standing as patriots of our country against an invasion of socialists, right? These people come from countries that are, or beings, come from countries that are socialists. They're not assimilating to American ideology. And now that they've gotten their numbers up, they want us to capitulate and acquiesce and coalesce with their ideology when we are the Americans, right? We are the Americans that built, developed, and advanced America into a superpower, a first world nation. So how in the world are we now going to capitulate and acquiesce with immigrants that have not contributed anything to this country? They have no equity in this country. To me, when you look at, you want to look at capitalism and look at it from a capital or monetary standpoint on a balance sheet, right? On your P&G balance sheet for your company or your organization, You have assets and you have liabilities. Now, we already know these beings are liabilities. How do we know they're liabilities? Because they're extracting resources, our resources. They're extracting our resources that we supposed to have, right? Just here on our soil. And then they're taking some of the resources, that money that they're making, and they're sending it to their countries in remittances. Now, that's not going back into America's economy. That's going to their home country economy, right? So this don't make any sense. So that's one way we see that they're a liability. Another way that we see that they're a liability is they're coming in here into America, receiving contracts, jobs for lower wages. They're not even bidding for contracts to make it competitive. They'll go low, 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 low to get a contract and get us out of the position. So how is that? How are they bringing anything to America? How are they been helping America to progress economically? Let me put it that way. How are they helping us, you all, just overall America? If they're extrapolating or taking resources and then making sure that they remove us, the Americans, and especially the authentic, original Americans, natives, natural born to this soil, from our positions. Let's come on now, let's look at it. You had in Biden's administration all of those positions, and most of them were immigrants. They were not Black Americans. From the lady that was the spokesperson, I forget her name. I don't even want to call her name. The other gentleman, or I shouldn't say gentleman, but the other guy that was in the treasury position. Now, we have a history of our own ancestors being in these positions, y'all, especially the treasury. So the fact that these people now also like to throw up in our face, they speak another language. They also have come and supposedly are more educated. Ooh, let me talk about the more educated, right? They're coming here to go to our HBCUs, not their own colleges and universities in their native lands. They're coming here to our HBCUs that we built, right? There's HBCUs that we built, and there's some that have been funded by ex-slaveholders because their children, they wanted to make sure their children, offspring that they procreated with a slave, had somewhere to go to school or make sure they studied, right? So this belief that somehow they're assets to America, when we can see via all of their behaviors, just look at the pattern of behaviors. They're not assets. They're liabilities. Right now, look at our country. Look at what we're going through in our country. So to me, I'm going to go back to the title. Immigrants are racist mixed with some classism. Where's the classism come from? They're bringing it from their home country. They're already racist toward the melanated in their home countries. Now they come in here and be racist and implement classism over us. So I want you all to walk with me. How is it that we have built, right? We know we built the capital city, DC. And it's on the White House Historical Society's website. Blatantly, it's there. That they could not recruit these immigrants to come over here and do that work. So they had to take it on or get it done or they had the slaves and the free people, which is some of our free people, to build the capital of DC. It's not just the White House that was built by us. Many of those buildings, the Treasury building, every major building you see in DC was built by us, or the former, our ancestors, right? The formerly emancipated, or the formerly enslaved and emancipated freedmen. So now, today, you have beings coming here that want to tell us that we have not contributed anything to our society in the advancement of it. And they are now saying that they can come into your country and have a hierarchy over you. Classism. Because they supposedly have more wealth than you, or income, not wealth. We'll say income, because I'm going to always claim that we have more wealth than anybody in this nation, because this country is ours. Right? If you follow me, where I'm going. So when you have these beings coming from socialist nations that are already implementing racism, and now they're coming here telling us you were slaves, so I automatically can come here and be on top of you. That's classism, y'all. Is it not? So why in the world will we sit here and adhere or acquiesce to this ideology with these beings as being the Americans, being here before the inception of a country? So I'm just having real serious issues with how some of these beings are acting, and we not having our representation to counter them. So the grassroots, the people, we have people power. We must go up against. We have no other choice. They're invading. They're attempting to rewrite our history. They're attempting to take on certain ideologies, right, that does not align with Americans or America. Well, I'm not even going to talk about the Declaration of Independence. We're going to leave it right there for now. So when we look at the 14th Amendment, y'all, they really are getting into politics and speaking in a certain way and spreading all of this propaganda to steal your birthright. At the end of the day, when did the Constitution change? I should say, let me ask this. When did the interpretation of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution change? Because when I look back at the history, we know that Ronald Reagan gave illegal aliens amnesty. That was the late 80s. Let me look it up. Give me a moment. I'm going to look it up. Let's see. Okay, 1 second. I don't know if anybody else understands that this recent belief that immigrants or aliens can come here, have a baby on the soil, and their child is all of a sudden a citizen. You all, that's some warped type of rationale. I should say it's illogical. It's very illogical, because never in the history of America have we allowed beings to just come here, have a baby on the soil and all of a sudden the child is a citizen, from what I understand. Because I lived in New York City back in the late 90s, where many immigrants, after their visas had expired, was attempting to marry someone that is American so that they could stay in the United States of America. Oh, Brooke says the Ellis Islanders arrived. You know, it's the Ellis Islanders that are in and their descendants in politics right now that are attempting this. I call it a coup. I call it a coup d'etat happening in our federal government right now. That's where I'm going. I know we have the space open in X. Anybody want to come up and speak? I will allow you. Just raise your hand and I'll let you come in. But I'm just speaking on what I'm witnessing right now, is that the fact that you have the interpretation of the 14th Amendment being challenged in our Supreme Court in 2025, because we have, most likely, like you said, Brooke, these Ellis Islanders descendants that are at this moment, along with some of the holding descendants, attempting a coup d'etat of American government. When you have a sitting president that says Americans first and we are going to make sure we deport those illegal aliens that they allowed another administration, which we know Biden is Irish and his family owned slaves, right? They were immigrants that came over here in the 1790s or 1800s and got in on the slavery, y'all. So let's be real about it. Got in on the slavery system, made sure they owned slaves, and now he's a descendant, and he had him in administration and worked with Obama too. He's been a senator. He's always been against Black people or the freedmen. Has a track record of going against the freedmen, right? His history, entire political history. So now we're seeing full-fledged what he, and well, let's roll it back. We got to even say Obama is involved in this. He chose Biden as his VP. And then Obama made sure he created DACA, right, as a constitutional attorney. He created DACA so that the illegal aliens and their children could stay here, attend schools, and all kinds of all these other things without becoming citizens of America. So we can definitely say Obama is in on this as the interpretation and reinterpreting the U.S. Constitution and the 14th Amendment to allow illegal aliens on this soil have babies and take our birthright citizenship or take over our birthright citizenship. Because the ploy is the more of them come here and have babies on the soil, right, then they get to come and take over and take our place. Listen to what I'm saying, you all. The more of the immigrants that come to the illegal aliens that come to the soil and have babies on this land, they gonna say that they are citizens of this land and come over us. Part of the socialism. It's a part of the socialistic play, and knowing they're racist and classist. So where will we fit into all of this as the Americans and native to this soil, indigenous, made in America on this soil? We have fought every war for this country. We even were the the beings that helped helped America to acquire Mexico in the Spanish-American War. It was us, right? We warriors of this land. We're the patriots of this land. Every time you look at something, it's us. So it's also us to make sure, and when I say us and our people power, to make sure we remove these beings from the soil because we're being attacked, right? We don't need Hispanics and Latinos because they are a liability. They have no inventions, right? They haven't fought every war in this country. They just got the name Hispanic and Latinos. Let me pull up the census. Oh my goodness. The old census form. I got so much I want to share with y'all. When I speak, it just comes up. So there, excuse me, there's an old census form and it shows who was here in the very beginning. And none of these new arrivals, as AOC was saying, they built, all of them built New York City. They're not on that census for many, 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 many years. They're not on this census. Let me find that. I hope I can share with you all because I know Brooke was saying it wasn't showing. We have a Latino, you all, Hispanic Latino in the chat. He's so upset that we as the freedmen, the Americans, are not accepting socialism and what they're bringing to our country. We should not accept anything like of that. This is our country. This is what we do. We do here. They must learn how to assimilate and acculturate here. This is not about a takeover, and we're not going to allow anyone to come here and take over our country, and we're going to just acquiesce to it. So I wanted to show, let me see, I hope I can share my screen and you all can see the old census.gov of all of the races here. Let's see. And I want you all to see how it's been built out over these last 100 years. Let's see if you can see this. Okay, Brooke, you let me know if you can see my screen. I'm going to allow again, and let's go to it. Okay, Carl, I'll bring you up. All right. Okay, I hope you all can see this on the screen. I'm live, so yes, Carl, go ahead. It's on you, Carl. You can speak. Can you hear me, Carl? Oh. Okay, I have someone in the X space that is willing to come up and speak, you all, if you're hearing me right now. Oh, you didn't see okay, Brooke, thank you. I'm having all kinds of technical issues. No, I can't hear Carl either. Carl, can you hear us? Can you hear me? You have the floor if you can hear me. I see his hand. Okay, I'm gonna push, bring you back down, Carl, and I'm gonna bring you back up because it could be me. I want to see if it's me. Now, I just brought Carl back up, and then on here on live, I'm going to see if I can make sure you all see my screen. Okay, Brooke, can you see my screen? Can you see? I'm going to put this up if you can see. Okay, Carl Duncan is asking to speak as well. Maybe Carl will come back. Okay, Duncan, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you. Good morning.
Grand rising to you. How are you?
I'm doing fine. We're doing fine. I wanted to ask you a question. Um, do you know when the Supreme Court will come back with the decision about the 14th Amendment?
I do not. I was told they did want the president. Now, okay, so Duncan is asking in the X space, when do we know, or if I know, of when the Supreme Court is going to come back with the ruling on the interpretation of the 14th Amendment? And I will say, Duncan, I am not aware. What I do know is they had stated initially that it was going to be this month. We had thought when they reconvened that they would go ahead and take up that case. However, other cases have taken precedence over, but I do know the Trump administration has asked them to go ahead and rule on it expeditiously. So we're still waiting. And I was hoping that by October the 15th, this would be done, and that would have been the first case. There's a couple more cases as well that are challenging Trump's executive order. So they have got to go ahead and make sure they go ahead and rule on it. So I know that with the Trump administration, they have been going through so much with these injunctions, and these injunctions took place. Also, with them sending out the National Guard or sending out ICE to certain areas, there was judges blocking ICE. There were judges blocking him from sending the National Guard to certain states. So they've had those cases now to take precedence over the ruling or the interpretation of the 14th Amendment. But this all of this happening is showing us how many of the immigrants, these are the legal beings, they're immigrants, they're not native to this America, have gotten into political power. They are now judges, they're now politicians, and this is a part of the coup d'etat that I say is happening in our federal government or in our governments, period. On our local, state governments, they have gotten into position, and we know it's via the Democratic Party, and some of them are Republican, but the majority we see are Democrats, right? And it is the party of immigrants. It has always been. And they've always attempted to make this a white ethno state, and make sure that we don't receive any benefits in our own country. So we already know the play with the Democrats. So thank you, Duncan, for that question. Go ahead, Carl. I hope you're able to speak. I know we had some technical difficulties.
Thank you, Dr. Harriet. Good morning. Great space. These spaces are very needed from the grassroots because, as you know, the first 5 tier has already been infiltrated with immigrants in our freedmen community. The donor class has been infiltrated. The think tanks and lobbyists have been infiltrated. The media and influencers have been infiltrated. Even the political party and elected officials have been infiltrated with immigrants. So the grassroots, what you're doing today, is very, very important. Shine the light on the infiltration of immigrants that look like us, who have infiltrated our community, our politics, and keep us from what is due to our people. So I wanted to come up and say thank you, Dr. Harris, for having this space, because this is very important. It is very important also that we delineate with precision that our identity is the status of freedom.
Yes.
Because no one else can have that identity.
Yes.
Except those who were formerly enslaved and emancipated.
That,
So I wanted to come up and say
Right.
They need to be aware of what is taking place.
Are you walking, Carl? We hear some noise.
Not only did Ronald Reagan give amnesty for the illegals,
Mm-hmm.
but Congress and Ronald Reagan put forth the Emergency Medicaid Act.
Mm-hmm.
That illegals could go to the emergency room and get federal aid.
Right.
That is what the Democrats are
Fighting for.
keeping the government shut down because they want the aid to continue to go to the illegal aliens.
Right.
And there, thank you for the time.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna recap. Thank you, Carl. I really appreciate you, and I'm gonna do more of these because we do have to. I really appreciate that because it's been on my heart. It's been on my mind. I was gonna hold a space last week about there's no Black unity, and I got nipped on X. But let me recap for those of you that are live with me. So Carl is in my X space, holding a space or room on X as well. And so he came up to the stage to express how he's supportive, and he thanking me for speaking or having this discussion and talking about how there's an infiltration via the immigrants in all of our areas, right, to sustain us. Again, I'm going back to their liability. They're not an asset. So there's in our politics, and when I say in our, I mean the freedmen, the Black Americans, the authentic original Americans and patriots of this land. So there's been an infiltration that we know that they are all in the Black caucus. And that's the reason why we don't have any political representation right now and no one speaking, along with our Black leadership, and I'm going to say it, leadership that has gone along with whatever the plan is of the globalists. So we at this point in time are at a precipice. And so he's happy, and he was expressing that we need to speak about these things as the people, right, that are being affected. And he also went in to say that we must continue to delineate, meaning the freedmen, right? No one else, or the immigrants are not freedmen. There's no way they could be freedmen. They can't come under our status, which is constitutional, right? So with that, he's expressing that we need to continue with that, and I'm all about that. We had a space yesterday speaking on powernomics with Dr. Claude Anderson. Even Dr. Claude Anderson had informed us of what was to come with the illegal alien invasion or immigrant invasion into the country, and how, again, they are racist and they are determined, right, to come to our land and take over. And he spoke about La Raza and some other organizations that in 1974, when he was in his position in the government, where they were stating that they were going to make sure America became a country where it was the Europeans and the Hispanics and the Latinos. Not happening on our watch. But anyway, that is something that they want to do. And then he also covered the fact that right now the Democratic Party, with the government shutdown, is basically holding the government hostage because they want to make sure that illegal aliens can come to America and receive health care that most Americans have to pay for, right? On Medicare. They can go to an emergency room and get some health care for free. That's socialism, you all. That's not what we do in America. So even a majority of Black Americans right now don't have health care, but illegal alien and immigrants are making sure that they get into our government and they give our resources, from health care like Medicare, Medicaid, to food stamps, right? People are worried about SNAP benefits right now. Majority of Black Americans are not on SNAP, right, y'all? Now, we have a certain percentage. I think we had the least percentages of beings on food stamps. But they're putting this, or the propaganda is, it's a great deal of the Black Americans that are on food stamps and utilizing government assistance. Not true. It is the immigrants or the illegal aliens, majority. And let me make sure I clarify to you all that these beings are coming under saying that, immigrants, but they're saying that they're citizens because basically they have been here, they've gotten their visas, they have permanent residence, and some of them are seeking asylum, claiming they're refugees. So they're getting all of your resources. And when our people actually really need to go to the government for assistance during challenging times, they can't get it. They don't receive it because the system is being strained via the immigrants and illegal aliens, and the immigrants setting up the illegal aliens. Right? So again, let's look at Biden. Okay, a great example. Just so I'm drilling it in. Biden is a immigrant. His family is immigrant stock. He became a politician, right? And he had over, I think, 40 some years. And the entire time he went against Black Americans in his political career. So then we have Barack Obama that chooses him as his VP, right? And in that, they made sure that everyone was taken care of. This is where it all begins for me, as far as the immigrants and illegal aliens thinking that America, they can come to America and take over. Because Obama, instead of sending the illegal aliens home, he made some of them and their children come under DACA. So what is DACA? I'll give y'all the actual name of DACA so you understand what DACA means. I know I put up the screen. Brooke says she couldn't see it, but I'll attempt the screen again. But I'm going to tell you what DACA means. DACA is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. And it says it is a U.S. immigration policy that offers deportation protection and work permits to eligible undocumented young people. We know undocumented means illegal aliens, because the Democrats have changed the terminology to make you be more accepting, right? Because illegal aliens is a part of the law. That's how it's written into the Immigration Naturalization Act. They will be considered illegal aliens. And it says that gives them deportation protection and work permits so that the ineligible, undocumented young people who were brought to the country as children, you all, now these beings are here to tell you the interpretation of the 14th Amendment extends to babies born on this soil that don't even have parents that are legalized citizens. Their parents are not even naturalized. They don't even have a parent that is a legal citizen to even be receiving resources in America. This is what I'm talking about, a liability. And they're taking your resources. So it says this policy was established in 2012. Biden and Obama both attorneys. Both are attorneys. I know that Barack Obama is specifically a constitutional attorney. And then we know that Biden practiced law for many years. So you're not going to tell me that they don't have an understanding of the United States Constitution and its laws specifically the Immigration Naturalization Act, Hart-Celler Act, right? So now everything that is ours is being weaponized against us. Everything that is ours in America is being weaponized against us. And it starts with Barack Obama in office with the illegal aliens, undocumented immigrants. I shouldn't say immigrants, because immigrants are naturalized, right? Let's get it right. Let me go back over the terminology. An illegal alien is defined as a foreign national who is living without official authorization in a country in which they are not a citizen. I'll repeat. An illegal alien is a foreign national who is living without official authorization in a country of which they are not a citizen. Okay. What is an immigrant? And then we're going to get to the undocumented. A person who comes to live permanently in a foreign country. So, Biden is an immigrant. His people were not here. They are not the original white people in America. What I mean by white people in America, the Mayflowers and the Wasp, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. He is neither. So now again, let's look at the connection. The immigrants that have come to America are now supporting illegal aliens on the soil and telling us that we need to acquiesce, capitulate, and coalesce with them as if they've been here in this country and deserve any and everything that is ours. Okay? Going back to what I was stating before, there's an entire chart via the United States Census Bureau that measures race and ethnicity across the decades from 1790 on to 2010. And I use this because it gives us an overview of how the immigrants have began to flood into America. And now they want to take over. So from 1790 all the way until 1860, you have only basically the three groups, right? You have Black, and they have Black free people, colored slaves, mulatto, Indian, and then you have the Chinese that came in the 1860s. So we're going to go with that because we know about slavery and emancipation. Okay, 1870. You had more of they're using the term migrants. We got to do that too. We got to go over. Okay, let me roll it back. Let's go back to what the term undocumented immigrant means. Let's see how they define it. Undocumented immigrants are non-citizens who are in the United States without legal permission, either by crossing the border without inspection or by overstaying a valid visa. Still, it's an illegal alien because you're not supposed to be on this soil. So they redefined that. Let's look up migrants, because we know our people, the freedmen, migrated from the South. Some of them migrated from the South to the North for jobs. So they're now defining migrants as a person who moves from their usual place of residence to a new location, either within their own country or, listen to this, across an international border. Okay, so are they saying that migrants are people that are just taking up residence in a new location? That's a migrant. That's what I'm hearing. Which, still, if you're from the United States and you go to Canada, are you a migrant then too? That's a whole nother country, even though it's still North America. Yes, Duncan, I'll bring you up. Duncan has a question. I got a question on that one too, Duncan. Go ahead, Duncan.
It seems like they're going out of their way to try to make us equate us with immigrants. So if I move from my usual place, say if I stay on the west side.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I don't even leave my city. I just want to move to the east side.
Yes.
Now I'm a migrant.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yes. That's what they're saying.
Still within my borders, but I'm a migrant.
Yes.
In that same vein, not to use them as an example, but I just have to, we have to say that the Cherokee are migrants, right? Because of the Trail of Tears.
Yes.
That they're migrants. I don't know, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and how they're attempting to redefine words so that it keeps you on this hamster wheel of like, am I that too now? But this is 2025, right? We know that they're attempting to do all of this because, again, they are attempting to get in power and then make sure that the immigrants and illegal aliens get to stay in America, and then they can rewrite the Constitution. They can rewrite the history, because basically that's what they're attempting to do. When Biden, I'm gonna go back to Biden. Biden said this was a nation of what? Immigrants. But we know that's a lie. Because on this soil, there has always been multiple ethnicities from the very beginning. Even when you look at Florida, which has the oldest town or city, which is St. Augustine, Florida. They began to build it in 1526. There was always the presence of the enslaved and formerly enslaved here on the soil. Free people were already here. And we know that they were, at the time, we can say Africans. But we know that we've evolved, especially via slavery. And we experienced the ethnogenesis via slavery. So, we are the product of multiple ethnicities that have been on this soil. And we know the European wasn't on the soil in 1526. Well, okay, people would say the Spanish are European, but we also know the Moors, the Moors were ruling Spain during the time that St. Augustine, Florida was built. And then also with that, the slavery wasn't the same as chattel slavery in America after once forming of America. Was not the same. So, and even then, again, I have to reiterate, there was still free people. And you had also native tribes. They've always been on the soil. So there's no way that you can ever say that America has just been a white ethno state. It has never been, even in its formation. Right? There was already multiple ethnicities on this soil. And it's not going to happen. It's just not meant to be. If they want to, go somewhere else and create their own, like they did Israel, that should be what they are attempting to do instead of try to take over America. But that goes to show you again how deep it goes, where they're attempting to ethnocide and genocide us. And that's another term or terms that I continuously use. And I do believe we need to speak on it louder and louder and louder now, because right now we see a socialist play. We see the Hispanics and Latinos attempting to get in position and work with the white nationalists to ethnocide and genocide us, aka the Democratic Party. And I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all a disclaimer. If you don't know, you will know right now. I'm a radical Republican. Okay, I have no shame because my ancestors were all up in the federal government doing all kinds of work as Republicans. So I'm going back to that, especially with this Constitution and the interpretation of the 14th Amendment. So let's move on to the other part of the title in the space. Black unity. There is no black unity, y'all. I'm gonna say it, and I know some people might not like it, especially when they listen to this podcast. But it is what it is. Oh, I see you, Brooke. You say your Native and European ancestors were here in the 1700s. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We fought wars with the natives in Florida, Seminole Wars, right? So what is something that has been bothering me, and why I put this in the title as well, and I see it as a play on behalf of the socialists, is now to have the other humiliated immigrants say that they are black too, right? We know many of them have come to this soil, and I'm gonna repeat, I lived in New York City in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? I think I left New York City and right after, a couple years after 9/11. So I was in New York City until 2004, 2005. But majority of them, you ask them, or you could tell as well by the accents, by the way they dressed, that they were not they were not Black Americans. So now in 2025, and I've been seeing a great deal of it on my timeline, which I said, you know what, we're not, I can't do this, and not highlight how they are now coming into our space and taking on our identity and saying that they're Black like us. How? They used to say, "Oh no," you ask them where they're from because you know they had an accent. "Oh, I'm Jamaican," or "I'm Bahamian." You know, they will represent and still fly their flags. I mean, like you have a parade that used to be ours in New York City that is now they've taken over, and they fly their flags. So now they're trying to operate in our identity as Black. We know in America that race is a social construct, and it was created specifically to harm who? The freedmen, right? It's a part of our history. Because as soon as our ancestors were emancipated and they had the status of freedmen, and then the Republican Party decided to compromise with the Democratic Party and not protecting us, we saw laws created specifically to harm us called the Black Codes. And that initiated Jim Crow. Now, what Africans, what Jamaicans, what Bahamians went through Jim Crow? Because and even when you go and look at in New York City, how the housing, we were fighting for certain things for ourselves, and we've already fought for that should be ours on our soil as Americans and the freedmen to have full protections and the right to property. We know West Indians that were hired to do work with white folks was able to get housing, aka buy homes in New York City. So we're not going to play this now, I'm Black like you. Because you don't have our struggle, you don't have our plight. So you can't just come in and say you Black like us. But that's the ploy, you all, right now. So there's no Black unity. The only Black unity is the freedmen. That's what I see. Anybody else have any thoughts about that? In anybody on X in the space? Because you can, every time you turn around now, they're saying, "Oh, black people," and they're speaking like black people over in the Congo. Oh, those are black people in the Congo. You should want to help black people in the Congo. I don't see black people in the Congo in Africa. And then we're going to talk about, I'm going to get to it. Yeah, Carl wants to speak because I want to get to how they're using black to for us to try to fight their causes. Go ahead, Carl.
Yes, great point. The OMB, the Office of Management Budget, when they constructed or when they reclassified the freedmen and made it a race called black in the OMB, that was the beginning of our downfall. When the OMB reclassified us from freedmen to black in the Office of Management and Budget, that was the beginning of the downfall. In the 70s, OMB added black and African American. And again, these immigrants are playing in the game that the powers that be have set up. Therefore, I do understand that there are some people that are furious about these immigrants cosplaying as black, but the game has already been set up in the Office of Management and Budget. My fight is going to be on the freedmen front. Now, those of you that want to fight to keep black and so forth and so on, power to you. My fight is going to be on the political front. Let me back. There's a personal fight, a personal and cultural fight, and then there's a political fight. I'm on the political fight that our ancestors, when they were emancipated, they were called freedmen. There's legislation, there is a freedmen bank, there have been freedmen towns, there has been legislation that have recognized this people group as freedmen. So there is a personal cultural fight, and then there's a political fight. I'm on the political fight that our people, we must identify as a unit, as freedmen, make sure that the Congress restore and identify the freedmen and all the funding that we are looking for and resources going to that group of people. If we will identify as freedmen, we would not have to worry about others who are cosplaying as black trying to take our resources. So again, there's a personal cultural fight, and then there's a political fight. My fight is on the political of identifying as freemen, that those resources that's supposed to go to the freemen would not go to any other people group who are cosplaying as black. I land there.
I agree with you, Carl. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you because at the end of the day, when we delineate and we are going under freedmen, none of our resources can go to others. We will not be included in as minorities. We will not have to share any of our resources because basically they're coming to take our resources, right? That nips that in the bud. You can't just come under us and be able to goes to that classism, right? They're utilizing racism against us to make sure that they establish their classes. So with that politically, I am with you. Now, I agree with you as well. If you want to take up this social cultural fight, which I'm gonna still fight that one too, Carl. I'm gonna still fight that battle too, because you know what? I look at it as nothing here of ours is theirs. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Not a thing of ours is for immigrants or others that come here and decide they choose to come here. They have every opportunity to establish their own identity and do their own thing outside of us, right? Because we're already established here. We're a founding population here. So our culture does not include them. That's where I'm at. However, I totally understand that it begins with our federal government and how they have been using race and how we have this racist system and it's been, again, to harm and injure us. And when the immigrants come over or the illegal aliens come over, they begin to operate in this system of race, and they too are racist. And so then they go into now attempting to take our resources and then catapult themselves above us in classism.
For example, Dr. Harriet.
Yes, sir.
Mexicans became citizens in 1848 with the Treaty of Guadalupe. They took the white card in 1848. They became citizens of the United States of America. Now, in the 1970s and 80s, we have allowed them to come under the construct of minority, which is another hoodwink, bamboozlement. We allow them to come under the minority and declare themselves as minorities. No, you are white. You took the white card in 1848. But the Office of Managing Budget, through the lobbyists of those Mexicans and Latinos, came in and put themselves under the minority moniker, a moniker that freedmen should have kicked back and pushed back and said, no, we are freedmen, we are not minority. We allow this construct to again take away what resources that we were supposed to have for ourselves.
Yes, sir. I agree. That representation was not as the play. I would say they wasn't aware, and if they was aware, they wasn't willing to fight that battle, right? Because we know that even with affirmative action, there was some things that were changed in the bill and the policy, and there was no pushback from our leadership. So we do have to hold some of this responsibility of this, because we are supposed to be taking care of ourselves first and foremost, right? And when we don't do that, we see the ramifications and we feel the effects of us not standing as the Americans, as the freedmen, a founding population of this country. But you know what, Carl? The one thing that I am looking at right now that I say it can work in our favor is that we're able to go back into the past and rectify some things right now. What I mean by that, we have an administration that understands Americans first, that understands how the Constitution is being misinterpreted. And with that, it gives us the opportunity to say, we're going to right these wrongs or correct these errors that have impacted us ourselves right now in this moment. That's kind of where I'm going with it. What are your thoughts about that?
I agree totally that we are in a time, we're in a space that our government are looking at things, and if we have the right people who are looking at it, then it would be reversed back to the freedmen. Again, let me say this. I know a lot of people on this app, on this app have problem with conservatives. A lot of conservatives, when you're talking about system or systemic problems, they jump on the other aisle to personal responsibility.
Mm.
They are new conservatives. They are immature conservatives. They do not understand the politics of conservatism. So a lot of new conservatives, when you talk about systemic problems in our community, when you talk about political issues, again, they jump way on the other side and make it about them personally. When you're engaging with those people, you must bring them back and say, yes, I understand the individual, the personal aspect of it, but we are talking about systems. We are talking about politics. How do we address those systemic issues in the politics of our people? Keep holding their feet to the fire to stop jumping on the other aisle, talking about personal, anecdotal type situation, and go back over to the political aspect of the situation. And if they can't talk about the political, then they need to sit down somewhere.
Go ahead, Carl. I'm with you.
But there are some black conservatives like myself, like Sonny Johnson, like others, who understand the systemic problems that have come against our people. So don't throw all of us conservatives away, because the problem is your progressive brothers are the ones who brought this minority in. Your progressive brothers are the ones who keep allowing these immigrants to come and take over our resources. Instead of focusing on one people group who are the freemen. So again, when you're talking to a conservative, make sure you let them understand we're not talking about personal issues. We're talking about political. We're talking about those systems that come against our people group. When you're talking to these progressives out here, these progressives are continually going to want you to go under the minority moniker. They're going to want you to go under more programs for our people. No. We don't want more programs that everybody benefits from. We want a redress from this government who have not who have unfinished business with Reconstruction. They have unfinished business with Reconstruction that was supposed to go to the freemen and to the freemen only. So again, in our community, there are some people who are conservative. And in our community, there are people that are progressive. They want everything to be government. Like I said the other day, just because I'm a conservative, I want limited government does not mean I want limited resources.
Right.
I want the resources not to go into a government program. I want the resources to go into my community, into the nonprofits, into the foundations, and the organizations in my community, and those communities distribute those resources to my people.
Right.
So it's a different thing. I don't want more programs. I don't want more government programs. I want the resources to go to the nonprofits in my community, to those organizations that know my people, and those resources go to be distributed to those people in that community. So as a conservative, it does not mean limited resources. It just means I don't want the government to do everything in my community. I'll land there.
Right. And I agree with you. And in that, we have an opportunity right now to restructure. I know people were in an uproar about Project 2025, and that has been bad or not. We read over Project 2025, and I didn't see what the big ordeal was, but the restructuring of the government, I'm looking at it as an opportunity for us to make sure then we establish our autarky, our autonomy, and having the Bureau of Freedmen Affairs reestablished, restructured. We can make it the offices of Freedmen Affairs. And with that, we're setting in with our federal government, right? What do I mean by that? We have someone running over, of course, we're going to have someone over the Freedmen Affairs that can sit in the cabinet with the president, with the administrations going forward. Not just this administration. Of course, we want to utilize this administration to get this bill passed and legislation and appropriations, right, towards the bill. But going forward, we have our own micro government within the federal government. So then, just like the Bureau of Indian Affairs, they have their different divisions that come under the Bureau of Indian Affairs, whether they have Health and Human Services, they have their own police departments or civil rights, things of that nature. We should have the same, and we have our own mini government within the government because we're Americans. I am not advocating us to separate in any way from our federal government. And you know why the native tribes and the Bureau of Indian Affairs are right there with the government? Because it's called protections. You have a 14th Amendment that we're to receive protections from our federal government, and we can hold this government accountable going forward. Go ahead, Duncan. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying you're hitting on all cylinders right now and today, especially about, like you said, we should have our own government agency within this government that should be supported totally by the United States government. A law enforcement department. I would like to see like stings, the way they did drug stings and the war on drugs in black communities. I don't see why they can't do stings when it comes to racial discrimination on jobs. Especially younger people who are getting out of high school, who are trying to, get jobs, just regular jobs, and they're being overlooked before they can find a trade, when they're just working in the regular sector, right? I would like to see stings about that. Also, when it comes to police killing unarmed black Americans, there should be a law enforcement agency that investigate that. A district attorney on the federal level that prosecutes that under the Freedmen Department. That's a great idea. Just like they have family courts and all type of courts, when these officers do things like they Alter Sterling, a Freedmen prosecutor should be able to take them to a Freedmen court and prosecute them there, because internal affairs or doing this locally is not working. These people have local relationships, that they know people locally. You never know who they are related to locally. It leaves so much room for corruption. And you're right on point.
Yes.
Please keep that momentum. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Duncan. I really appreciate that. And I really, again, I appreciate you and Carl coming to the stage and speaking, because this is live. I'm live on the Freedmen channel on YouTube as we discuss this, because at this point in time, I do see it as a precipice, a very important, monumental time in our history, and that we see what is happening, right? We see that there's a push for socialism in America. There's a huge push to take over and remove our documents, our laws. There's a blatant disregard for the federal laws in America right now. And it's happening with politicians. And I was going over earlier, you all, if you're just joining, about how it all, for me, when I look back at the history and what is happening right now, it starts with Obama. It all started with Obama and Biden, and they just been carrying it on. But I'm going to go back to what these gentlemen were just speaking on about us delineating and ethno-aggregating so that we are in control of our resources. And Duncan, when I say, we have our different divisions, yes, we have our own civil rights division. We have our own Department of Education, right? We have our own genealogy department. Anything, or our own, what is it? They have small business association or small business, but I would say just commercial and trade and business offices, right? We're not joined with others. So then any of the resources that is ours, we can make sure it's disseminated to our people from the federal level to our offices on the state in the different states, and then from the offices in the states, then they disseminate it to the local people, right? Locally. And we will, of course, we have satellite offices and things of that nature. So I am on that type of time. It's time for us to eliminate all others in our pot because they're using us. It's all about taking what is ours. Everything, that's why we're being attacked on all different fronts. Because they know we are the wealth of America. And when we allow the recent arrivals to claim our identity, then that sets up for erasure. Because we already know we are a unique and distinct ethnic group made in America. You will not find us anywhere else in the world. And they know this. So you remove us, then this will become a nation of immigrants. And we already see how they have ethnocided and genocided the native tribes, right? It's crazy. You have Europeans now claiming that they are Native Americans. I'm laughing because the fact of the matter is they literally killed the men off, procreated with the women, and now they're claiming, even after marrying another European, they're Native American. Y'all, come on now. That's diabolical. I'm laughing because it's like crazy, right? I'm just saying it out loud and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Which is what is the plague with us right now. So let me go back. I'm going to come to, okay, I'm going to finish this thought, Duncan. I'm going to put it out there. So I'm going to let you know, this is the play right now for us, right? And why the Pan-Africans and the recent arrivals, melanated recent arrivals want to get with us, right? You see the bi-ethnics already that have some of us, our men or women have procreated with the recent arrivals. And what do you see them doing right now? Same play as them white folks. Same play. But go ahead, Duncan. I had to get that out. Go ahead.
Yeah, you basically talking about the same thing that I raised my hand to say. Yeah, we are an amalgamated people. We had an ethnogenesis, but that happened when we did not really have a choice. A lot of the great, that happened during slavery, we did not have a choice in that. But now other free people are Black Americans, right? Freedmen, Black Americans, man or woman, they are choosing to procreate with other groups of people and basically thinking they're going to come to our community and demand us to accept them as Black Americans. No, they're biracial. What word you said? Multi-ethnic. No, they're not Black Americans. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to choose to procreate with another group, yeah, by all means, honor and respect your Black American side, but you have to acknowledge that other group you chose to procreate with, whether whether that be white, Arab, Mexican, Martian, or whatever the case may be, right? But you gotta accept and acknowledge that part as well. I'm just concerned. I agree with you on that.
Yes. This, like you stated, I'm glad you highlighted how our ethnogenesis that happened wasn't a choice. It is something that happened because of the conditions we were in and the environment we were in. Now it's a choice. And that's where I'm going. I know people don't like this, but again, we have to make sure we're not repeating the same in history, that patterns of behaviors in history that other groups have implemented that only ended up in their erasure. You can go and read. It's been the bi-ethnics that end up going with the choosing a side, and usually they don't choose the side of the natives or the native born or whatever, as how you want to state it, and they'll go with another side and then infiltrate. And you're seeing it right now, right? It's playing out in front of our eyes, where we have what was it, that the recent thing with the Pan-African, with the entertainer that made the song Mauna Leo, and then her manager is Nigerian, and then there's another artist that is bi-ethnic, and he's talking down on us just like he's not one bi-ethnic, right? So he's chose a side. He chose his side. He chose his Nigerian side, right? And but then move amongst us and move amongst our culture, right? And then the loyalty, I should say, the loyalty is not to our people, it's to others. So when you look at some of the native tribes right now, yeah, even Trump recognized it. Oh, I should play that. Oh, y'all got me on something. If Trump even said, well, when I go to the reservations, they don't look like they natives to me. So we have to be really careful about who we are bringing into the mix. And then the other thing is, we're not responsible as the collective, right? Here's where I'm at. We're not responsible for other people's choices to procreate outside of our lineage and our legacy. We should not have to bear the brunt of that or have to deal with any of that. That's their choice, as you just pointed out, Duncan. That was a choice of them to procreate with those other individuals. But we are already established here. Our ancestors were already established. Our elders already established for close to 400 years. We've been the only Black people in this country. So how is it now that others come over? They're also like us. Which goes back to the whole thing with the Pan-Africans. We know that the Pan-Africans are saying and teaching the recent arrivals that now they are Black too. And in that, we have been fighting for reparations, right? Part of our political movement and grassroots movement has been reparations. So now you want to tell me that because you're Black like me, that we all should join together under another term called Afro descendants, and we all are now Black in America and Afro descendants as they fight and take on reparations, which we've been doing this work. It is not new work for us, right? So now all of a sudden, the recent arrivals are Black like us as we continue our battle in our country for reparations. Doesn't make any sense. And then they've created another term, Afro descendants, which then puts us in the racial groups, right? Trying to put us in the racial groups with the Africans. And what I mean by that, let's look at the census. Let's look at how they define black on the census, you all. Have you ever looked at it? Do you know what it says? I'm gonna tell you. You probably, if you hadn't really looked at it, they've changed the definition. How does the census define black? I'm gonna tell you all, because they have black or African American is a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Somebody help me out. What are these black racial groups in Africa? Y'all know of any black racial groups in Africa?
No, I know. They identify themselves with their tribe, as far as my knowledge go.
That's what I thought too. So you all see the issue with even this definition?
But Dr. Harris, how long has that been going on? Ever since the 70s. We are 60 years removed from the game that been played on our people. That's why I say again, the government reclassified us as black on the Office of Management Budget instead of our classification of freedmen. Our grassroots, we need to make our legislators reinstate the freedman status.
Mm-hmm.
If our legislator would reinstate the freedman status, all those other things that you're talking about, the Office of Management and Budget, the Office of Freedmen Affairs in every state and every city, all those things will come in place. But first, we got to get our status, our name right. We got to have black unity in political spaces, that we are the freedmen. We are the freedmen. Our status, our class was freedmen, and we are the descendants of American slaves, the descendants of the emancipated, and that is our status. That is our class in America, and no other racial group can go under the status of freedmen except those who are the descendants of the American slaves, the descendants of the emancipated. That's why it's important.
Yes, and I agree, Carl. But okay, so it brings me to a question. If right now we are seeing, it's not an if, right now we are actually witnessing where we have no political representation, although I like to state it as taxation without representation. So how are we to get this done? We know it must be done. And the thing about it is, I want people to understand and know that we did go to the OMB. The grassroots did go to the OMB. We testified. I was one of them, to make sure we delineated on the upcoming census that we are not, that the recent arrivals are separated from us. From the form that I submitted with some other organizations, it was basically Black, African American. We had our own where we could say we whatever you chose, right? If you're Creole, Creek Freedmen, you could put all of that under there. Then you have the sub-Saharan Africans with their countries and whoever they are and how they identify. And then you also would have the others that was Caribbean, right? They could do their own and identify what nationality they were. Well, that wasn't accepted because they said there were so many different terms that came up, they didn't know which one to choose. Now, to me, that was an excuse, because you could have just said, okay, American origins, or you could have said, okay, Black African American, and we could still be separated. But then they also expressed that because Mark Morial and some others had written letters and NAACP, that, you know what, that will cause confusion with the recent arrivals. Again, it was an immigrant administration. which is an immigrant administration right now, but the previous administration is all about immigrants. Right? We now have an administration that says, "Hey, it's about Americans and Americans are first." So, how are we to go about making sure we change this with right now with no representation? How are we going to do this?
First, we'll do it with what you're doing today. You're educating the masses. You're educating our people. The grassroots is making an impact on educating our people that our status of freedmen was lost and abandoned. As a result of our status as freedmen being lost and abandoned, we've been placed under this thing called black. And as you just read, the Office of Management and Budget classifies black as any person from the racial group from Africa. That means everybody is called black in America. That does not serve the freedmen. We are a special people group. Mm-hmm. We are a founding people group. Who is that founding people group? The freedmen. Educating our people just like you're doing now, the grassroots. We cannot depend on those first five that I talked about earlier. The donor class, the think tank, the politicians, the media influencers. We cannot depend on them because they have been bought and sold. They are bought and sold with the propaganda that we need to be under the minority moniker. We need the grassroots like you're doing today to educate. We need to go back to the status of freedmen that delineates us from every other person that looks like us but not of us. Mm-hmm. Educate them. Once we are educated, we must go to our representatives and tell them, we want you to put forth a resolution to reinstate the freedmen status for our people because we are being underserved. We are being underserved by all these other immigrants who are coming over and taking our resources. Go to our elected officials and put forth some of our own officials and tell them we need a resolution to reinstate the freedmen status. Once that resolution goes forth, the Office of Management and Budget has no alternative but to put that box for American freedmen, and I'll land there.
I agree with you. And I think, again, this is a great opportunity for us to do this, right? With this current administration, we can present, especially aligning everything with the 14th Amendment. I just look at this as it's beautiful in a way because the alignment is just laid out for us. I totally agree with everything you have stated, Carl. We are it, right? We are it. It is no longer depending on any kind of political representation. We, the people, have to push policy for our people at this point in time. It's about us making sure as well we put people in office. But welcome to the stage, Mark King Carter. You know I got love for you, brother. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. The title definitely caught my attention. I'm scrolling in another space. I was in another space and saw this one. I'm like, oh man, let me get over here.
Yes, I'm live streaming, but I'm just talking about how right now we're seeing everything play out in front of our faces where they are utilizing certain things, right? Racism and using black to say that now the recent arrivals are us. Any way to make their socialist play. That's so Emmys are racist mixed with that's immigrants are racist mixed with classism. Say no to black unity and say no to socialism. What are your thoughts on that, Mark, on the title?
Well, the part you said from the beginning, it's not just that they're classifying themselves as well as being classified as black. It is our people who has always backed these immigrants, and not just the darker skinned immigrants. It was our people who made them minority.
Mm-hmm.
It was our people who agreed with people of color, black and brown. So a lot of our problems are coming from our own people who are including these other people in everything that we do. Whether it's Jesse Jackson's and a lot of our secret societies who funneled and flooded them into our HBCUs. None of this stuff happened without them. I think we need to make mention of that all the time, that none of this happened without them. None of this could have ever happened without them giving the green light.
Yes. And so okay, now Mark, you hitting on all cylinders here. Now what are we to do? How are we to solve these issues and conflicts that we're experiencing right now? What are your thoughts?
Well, as the grassroots community, we must master gas hard on delineation and who is to receive reparations. We must also be on the same page with this president's agenda when it comes to the 14th Amendment. You can bet your bottom dollars as it get closer, as time get closer to, as we get closer to this 14th Amendment ruling in the Supreme Court, you're going to have a lot of these people of color and these black and brown black Americans and all of these special interests, progressives. Oh, they're gonna oppose it. Mm-hmm. Watch them come out. They're gonna come out openly against the position that we're taking. Mm-hmm. Openly, they're gonna come out openly against the position that the president is taking. I mean, we have had outright racist white Republicans interpret the 14th Amendment in its proper form. Mm. Now, where have we seen that? What day and time have we seen that prior to this? We haven't. Let me say that part again. You have outright racist white Republicans who are interpreting the 14th Amendment properly. All down in Texas. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But what are these progressives are saying? What are these Democrats are saying? What are these secret society black folks are saying? Oh, that's xenophobic. That's racist. What the hell you mean? You know, and when these people are interpreting the 14th Amendment to our benefit, that lets you know that they will put others before they put us and their own family and their communities across this country.
Yes, you hit on a great point. If if the racist Republicans that everybody is so afraid of can interpret the 14th Amendment correctly, then why is it a problem for the progressives? I have my own theory. It's in the title. Say no to socialism. I was speaking on this earlier in how the interpretation of the 14th Amendment has only changed after Obama and Biden's tenures in office. Obama initially gave DACA a bill and policy so they could stay in the country. The 14th Amendment has never, ever been interpreted in America to say that two illegals could come here on a visa and have a child on the soil, or even someone just, usually you got to get a visa, right? If you're from another country to come into America and you're going to be here for a moment. So you have a baby on the soil and the baby is a citizen. Y'all, this is illogical. The baby is a citizen, but the parents aren't. Who has children and the child is under a certain age and don't have parents to take care of them? And it's okay to have a baby in America without parents of authority to take care of the child, and that child is a citizen. It does not add up. I say, when I look at it, I do it mathematically, right? You have 0 plus 0 equals 1 or 2 or 3. Y'all, how does that happen? That's not real math. That's not feasible. And this has only started to happen. I look at it when Biden or Obama, because he decided, oh, and Obama is a constitutional attorney. We know Biden is an attorney as well. I think I can't remember what type of law he practiced. So now they're telling us that it is okay for illegal aliens to come here and have babies on the soil, and the children are citizens, which is again another way to take our birthright citizenship. And yes, we do have our own participating in this, because they are sitting at the table, and they're at this present point in time, they're not even saying anything. You don't have any Black leadership, or leadership, as like Mark King Carter likes to say. I took his term, you all, and I'm utilizing it. They're not doing anything right now. They're not saying anything. We know we've been infiltrated in the Congressional Black Caucus.
Check this out, Dr. Harris.
Go ahead.
I like what Mark said a few minutes ago. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was to reverse the state sanctions against the freedmen. That was the purpose of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The compliance people, the enforcers, inserted a new status of people called minority. Mm-hmm. That was the compliance people. They inserted minority. Where was all of the pushback and said, no, that should be the freedmen? If you take the freedmen out of the minority status, what other minority was harmed by the United States government? None. White Republicans. If you understand the freedman status should be reclaimed and restored, it would dismantle this thing called minority, and the redress would go only to the freedmen. That's how you talk to those white racist Republicans. I've been there.
I heard that, Carl. And you know what? I do believe the white racist Republicans will understand all of that. Especially since they understand the Constitution and the interpretation of the 14th Amendment. I do believe, I think and feel they will align with what we're stating. But again, it's about us getting to them and presenting our case, or presenting what we as the Americans have a right to self-identify. We have a right for our pursuit of happiness. We have a right to all kinds of property in our country, on our land. We must make sure that we are speaking out. And they understand where we are as the masses of freemen in this country. Not just the Pan-Africans, not just the, I guess, the coons or whomever, how y'all want to label them and call them right now. It's so many of them at this point in the political space that are not speaking up and speaking out for the people, that, you know, it's really a travesty, but it shows us the link that these people will go through to basically ethnocide, genocide, erase their own people. And it's sad. But we know we the sleeping giants. We know how powerful we are as a people. And they will not prevail. And we can get this done. So I'm with you, Carl. We must make sure the OMB, okay, some calls to action, and I'm going to get ready to shut it down. I would love for us, and this is just me putting it out there, for you to go ahead and tweet to Russ Vaught of the OMB. Tweet to your senator, and if they're especially Republican, that are representing you in your state, in your local or your state and federal offices about the freedmen and how we are delineating. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing. I need to post the petition again today. I got the room started. I had some technical difficulties, but I didn't post the petition. You all know I have a petition going around where I'm stating we're delineating, ethno-aggregating, we're separating, and take it to your Congress people. Send it to them and let them know we are delineating and we are separating ourselves out of the minority groups because we are a founding population. And again, I'm going to reiterate, we have every right to self-identify. We have every right to pursue our happiness in our country and our land. And we have a right to all kinds of property in this country. So there's no way anybody can tell us no. And the only reason we know at this point in time, the Biden administration and the OMB was telling us no is because they want the immigrants in our places. So that is, again, going back to the title. Immigrants are racist, mixed with some classism. So there's no Black unity because basically the Black unity is us. We're not unifying with immigrants that now want to take on our identity and say they are Black like us. That is not happening. So with that, as Carl has said, we can eliminate all of that by making sure we reinstate our status of freedmen. And we know here in America, the social construct, the racial social construct is harming us. And we can look at the history and see how the racial construct was created to harm and injure the freedmen specifically, right? And so with that, we're saying no to socialism. Nobody gets to come here and say they on the same level and deserve the same things as the freedmen. We're the Americans that built, developed, and advanced this country into a first world superpower. It wasn't immigrants, right? And people will say, "Oh, immigrants were here building." Well, let's go look at the innovations. Besides of building America, let's look at the inventions and the innovations that advanced this society. And I guarantee you, you won't find a lot of immigrants that have been in America and they've been here, been unjustly enriched off of our backs, our contributions, our equity is in this country. We are the wealth of this nation. You wouldn't have certain things in place today if it wasn't for us being here. And there's so many of it, so many innovations, and even modern day technology. That's where I say advance this society, advance this civilization into a first world superpower. Comes from us, and we need to stand in that. So anybody else want to come to the stage? I'm gonna continue to highlight this, and I love the fact that we had the other day we had the discussion about with Dr. Claude Anderson. Mark is gone, but we had that space yesterday with Dr. Claude Anderson. He spoke about immigration. He was a real life prophet of our people, right? Telling us, preparing us for this day, and how we could have been proactive instead of reactive. So right now we have to be reactive, and hopefully going forward we can prepare and be proactive with our own. And what I mean by our own, having our own micro freedmen nation in America. Go ahead, Carl.
Let me say this, Dr. Harriet, great space for my conservative brothers. I know we get a few of my conservative people who are very immature and don't know the political space. They are socially conservative, but they don't understand the political guiding principles of conservatism. Let me give you a list of harms to the freedmen. Unpaid labor from 1619 to 1865. Land theft and denial, 1865 to 1900. Freedmen Banks collapse in 1874. Jim Crow and exclusionary policy losses between 1877 to 1965. Reclassification and civil rights dilution, 1977 to present. These are the harms that has been experienced by the freedmen, the descendants of the American slaves, the descendants of the emancipated. These are the harms that we are telling our government you need to redress with the freedmen. Not to all the other immigrants who have came over, but to specifically, you have unfinished business with the freedmen. And I'll land there. Thank you, Dr. Harriet. Thank you, everyone in the space. Have a good day.
Thank you, Carl, for that. You summed it up. That is great. And that's what the harms. You're correct. We need to highlight and continuously highlight that, because at the end of the day, all of these beings coming over here, coming on our backs and using our plight, and they've never experienced any of this. Never have they ever experienced any of this. So to me, it's all a grift. It's all fraud. It's all corruption, identity theft. You can put it all in that. It still hurts us and it doesn't serve us. And it's also, again, a liability. They're showing they are liabilities. They're not assets to this country. No allegiance to this country. No loyalty to this country as the freedmen. I really appreciate it, Carl. I'm going to have to back channel you. I would love for you and I to just sit as conservatives and talk and have a discussion. So I'm on my back channel you about that. With that, you all, I'm going to close out the podcast. It's been about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I know most individuals' attention span with podcasts, it doesn't last 3 hours. I think it's really only an hour and a half, and I've totally gone over my time. But I want to make sure we're having these discussions and people understand what is at play for us right now. They're really pushing socialism. The Democratic Party is pushing socialism, and they're pushing it on us at this point in time. And we have to fight back as Americans and make it known to this administration. We don't believe in this. We don't align with this. And the rest of those others are not representing us. We are here as the grassroots, as the masses of Americans, to represent ourselves. Those politicians are done for. They're not speaking on our behalf at all. We're taxed at this point in time. We're Americans we're paying taxes. It's taxation without representation. They're getting paid, but they're not representing us. So with that, you all, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to say love, peace, happiness. And you all see my shirt. I'm going to make sure you all see my shirt. I am Black history. You all are Black history. Freedmen, right? That's our history. We come under, Black comes under freedmen. So with that, you all have a good rest of your day, and I'm going to sign off. And please visit the Freedman channel. I didn't put it in the on the purple pill, but visit the Freedman channel and you can get this podcast and share it, and you can subscribe to the channel as well. So with that, you all have a good rest of your day.